Everyone. Thank you for joining me for today's free live Q&A that I do once a month on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, where you can submit your questions in advance and I will answer them for you live. If we have not met before, my name is Kim Garnett. I am the founder of Brainy. I have been in the marketing and tech space for 22 years now, as old as my son is. So you can hit me with a lot of things and I may be able to answer them for you. If not, I can usually send you to some other resource that you would be able to access to get your question answered. So I got some good questions today. If you are here with me, just type a little message in the comments. Let me know that you are here. Hopefully I will be able to see it and I will keep an eye on those comments as well. So first of all, excuse me, I'm going to pop a link into the comments here. It looks like that's only going to be on YouTube or Facebook. And that is the link to submit your questions for next month's Q&A. It's the first Thursday of every month. So save that link. And if you have questions that come up about marketing, tech, online courses, Thinkific, Convertkit, any of those things, feel free to submit them in advance. And those are the ones that I answer first. If we have time at the end, I will answer additional questions that you can type in the comments. So let's have a look at this week's questions. Question number 1 from Jay. Can you quickly break down the strategy to having a successful launch? Step 1, etc. How many weeks out should you be marketing? All right, this is not a quick answer, but a couple of things. So Jay, you are a part of our online course creator academy. And I will drop the link in here for anyone who is interested in having a look at that. That is my membership, where you get access to all of my pre-recorded training, all of my courses, all of my live training, weekly Q&As, and an online community. So it is great if you're looking for support, accountability, training, and success as an online educator. I am going to pop that in here first of all, and then I am going to show you something, Jay. So let's do a screen share. And I will take you over to the Brainy Girl You Thinkific Bootcamp, which you have access to because you are a member of the Online Course Creator Academy. And if you go into the introduction section here, you are going to see bonus course launch checklist. This is basically this, and it's going to take you through all the different steps that you need in order to have a successful launch. That being said, how long before should you start? Well, first of all, I think the most important thing is that you have an audience to sell to. Without an audience, you're going to have a hell of a time selling your course. So building your audience first as soon as possible. The quicker the better, especially if you're headed into a launch relatively quickly. You have to have someone to sell it to. You have to have an audience to sell it to. I always encourage email lists because you don't control what happens on social media. However, you do control your email list. So building your email list is going to be key to having an engaged, nurtured audience who are ready for what you have, provided that you have listened to your audience when it comes to what you have created. As far as how long in advance you're prepping for a launch, generally 8 to 10 weeks, sometimes 12 weeks. So hi, the dreamer's life. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I would say 8 to 12 weeks in advance is what you're going to be prepping for a launch, starting with all of the things that you need to do. So again, because you are, hi, Mariette, best creator coach on the planet. Bless you. Thank you. Mariette is one of my fabulous clients. She's also an OCCA member, and she's fairly brilliant herself. So maybe we'll get you on here one day, Mariette, with me. Maybe we should do a collab. Anyways, so launch, yes, 8 to 12 weeks in advance is when you're going to start prepping. And so because you're in the OCCA, go to the Brainy Girl You Thinkific Bootcamp. Download that course launch checklist, and it will give you all the steps that you need to follow for a successful course launch. Okay. Next question from Amy. Do you have any recommended resources of ways for clients to fill out an intake form, like 50 questions, in which they both get a copy and I get a copy? I've set it up using Google Forms, but I don't love how it looks on the back end. Any suggestions? So the only issue with, besides not being able to brand it very well on Google Forms, if you work with anyone who's accessing that form from corporate or from their office, a lot of times there are firewalls that will block that. So that might be an issue. You're looking for, my suggestion generally is Typeform. Although there's lots of really good form builders out there. There's one called Tally. Let me see if I can grab some of these links for you here so I can pop them in. Tally's relatively new on the scene, but it's very affordable, and something like that might work for you. Even with the free version of Tally, you get a lot of things. What you won't get with the free version of Tally is being able to, hold on, let me get back to my screen here, is being able to send a notification to the person who submitted the form. However, it's a small upgrade. The price is very, very affordable. I think it might be like $25 or $29 a month. But I would say, so there's the link for Tally, which is something that I would definitely suggest having a look at. And let me find Typeform here. There you go. So those are the two that I would probably suggest looking at. Typeform is definitely more expensive, but it's also very branded, and there's a lot of things you can do with it. So I would look at some of those options probably, Amy. Yeah, those are two good ones to start out with anyways. Marriott says, Kim's Club is amazing and a no-brainer for creators of any level. I've been supported by Kim since first year as a creator. I'm in my 4th year now, and she's killing it. Thanks, Marriott. That's the truth. I can train you and I can teach you how to do things, but you have to put in the work and be willing to take some risks. And Marriott is one of those who definitely has done that, as are most of my students. Accountability is great, training is great, but you have to actually do the work yourself, and that's where the success happens. Okay, next question from Bill. Website, Thinkific, and Convertkit. Conceptual integration or actual integration points? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Website, Thinkific, and Convertkit. Are you asking maybe how you do the integrations between them? So I would use if you have a website, I would be using your website for all of your landing pages. So all your sales pages, all your opt-in pages, all of those things, I would suggest that you have on your website for SEO purposes, for branding purposes, all of those reasons. Then you would have your Thinkific site as your learning management system. So that's where you would host and manage your courses and your students, take payments for your courses or memberships, et cetera, et cetera. That's where Thinkific comes in. And then ConvertKit is your email marketing. So ConvertKit would hook into both your website and Thinkific. So you would do the integration between Thinkific and ConvertKit, which you can do right within Thinkific. I think if you're on the basic plan, even the first plan, not the free plan, but the first plan, first paid plan. So you would integrate that so that for student onboarding emails, for those emails that you want sent when someone enrolls in your course or someone completes one of your courses. That's what you would want that Thinkific ConvertKit integration for. You would want the website ConvertKit integration if you're doing your funnel pages on your website. So things like lead magnets, if you're offering lead magnets and you're going to have a form on your website, you're going to need to create that form first in ConvertKit. Then you integrate it with your website. And that's how that integration, like you would need to have it integrated for that purpose. You may need it for a number of other things, but those are the two sort of main purposes that I would see you needing to do those two integrations for. All right, Bill, if you need further clarification, obviously let me know or submit another question for next week's live stream. Let's turn that off and turn this on. I only got the 3 questions this for this live stream, so feel free to pop your questions in there. The Dreamer's Life, Brainy Girl, Kim, would you like to be a guest on my show, Hanging with the Dreamer, someday? I would love to learn more about that, Dreamer's Life. Drop me an email. You can go to my contact form on my website and shoot me an email that way, or through Facebook Messenger if you wanted to do it that way. You could certainly do that. There's the Brainy Girl page that you can message through there. I'd love to learn more about it. Sounds cool. Hanging with the Dreamer. Anyone else have any questions that I can answer for you? Because we do have a little bit of time left, and I would be happy to answer some if you have some. And just to keep in mind, in the Online Course Creator Academy, every single week I do live Q&As. So our members can submit their questions in advance. They can ask live while we're on the live stream. So there is a high level of support, as well as being able to post questions in the group whenever you want to. So I'll just wait a minute and see if anyone has any other questions that they would like answered. I would be happy to do that for you. Okay, doesn't look like there's anything else coming in, but obviously I have left the link to the type form where you can submit your questions for next month's live stream. Obviously check out the OCCA where you could get weekly support or even daily support. And oh, here we go. Roland, oh my goodness. I'm so happy to see you. Ro is an old friend of mine. Old. I don't mean old. Well, you are old, but an old friend of mine years and years and years ago. Nice to see you, Ro. Mariette, when do you recommend someone starting to use a creator coach like you and I have done? That's a great question, Mariette. Here's my thought on coaches. I prefer to use the word guide, although you could use the word coach if you want. She says versus joining your membership. So when do you work one-on-one with someone versus being in sort of more of a group setting? I think there's a few times that you would do that. One, there's some people who just prefer that one-on-one. They know what they need. They get their questions answered quickly. They can go and implement it. And so often it's more of a shortcut for people who need that one-on-one or have very specific scenarios. That's a good time to reach out for someone to coach you or to guide you or to help you with your next steps. The when question, I think it's maybe more of a what, like what scenarios would it work better for you in? So if you're not a group person, like I'm not a group person. If I want to learn something and I want to shortcut my learning, going to someone who has done it, who has the experience, who has the skills, who has the knowledge, and skipping past all the potential mistakes that I could make, I will choose that in a heartbeat because it gets me there faster. I don't have to make 2 years of mistakes. I can learn it. I might still make a few mistakes, but I'm going to have a much better chance of being successful doing it if I go to someone who has done it, who's proven to be successful, who I know has the know-how to do it. That would be a great time to go to someone when you just don't want to play around, when you want to get results and you don't have any time to waste, right? I have a lot going on in my life and I don't have time to waste. So for me, going straight to the source and maybe getting some one-on-one coaching is a really good option. I am not the kind of person who loves to participate in, uh, hence why I work alone, and who likes to participate in group conversations. I don't really want to wait for everyone else to ask their question and sit through all of that. However, there are a lot of people that like that. They like that community. They like being able to hear questions that other people are asking that they may not have thought of. It can be really valuable for that, being in sort of a community or a membership, um, because you get a lot more from other people, right? Other people who are in the same boat as you are right now. So I think it can be really good for that. Um, yeah, I think it's a really good question, Mariette. I think you've got to know yourself, what you need, what you want, what's your budget, how much time do you have? Um, Thank you, Dreamer's Life. I appreciate you. I don't know who you are, so drop your name there. If we've met before, I would love to continue the conversation. Um, yeah, so I think you really have to just know yourself well. I know that I am a lone wolf. I love my membership. I love my members. I love my students. I love my clients. Um, but for me, participating in a group um, arena as a student doesn't work as well as one-on-one for me, where I can go straight to the source and get it done. But mostly because I just want to cut to the chase and get it done. So I hope that helps Mariette with some reasons why you might choose, one-on-one coaching over something like a group membership. I think they both work well for different people. You just have to know what kind of learner you are. What kind, are you a go-getter? Do you need a little bit more time? Do you have lots of other things going on in your life and you're just kind of doing this a few hours a week? Or is this your full-time, get in there, get moving? I think you can be successful with both. It really is just about, I really think it's just about knowing yourself and how you operate best and how you learn best, um, and what's going to get you moving forward faster if that's your goal. Yeah. I'm both, so I need both. Yeah. And I think that's really important. Like that's you know that you are in the membership and we also do one-on-one stuff together. And there's different purposes for them, right? Like you are a community person, you like that community, and you work really well in that team environment. Plus, you're learning a lot of stuff in that membership that I'm not teaching you. I'm giving you the steps to not make mistakes, hopefully. And I can do that in training and I can do that on one-on-one. So yeah, just know yourself. And I think it's an excellent question. And I think it just comes down to knowing who you are and how you operate best. So thank you. I don't see any other questions coming in here, but I very much appreciate you joining me. Thank you. And yes, I thrive with community, but I need alone time with you. I have many clients who feel that way, that they like, Jen says, Kim, I think what you said about you need to know yourself was the key to it. Yeah, you just have to know what kind of learner you are. Like I can absorb things ridiculously quickly and implement them and know whether it's going to work or not. There's other people who need to go over something a few times to catch on to what that is. And I guess it depends on, what it is. Like technology wise, marketing wise, I can watch something, implement it, go. It's go time. Whereas if that's not your wheelhouse, it's going to take you a little bit longer, right? I mean, if I'm learning something completely that I have nothing about, it's going to take me longer and I might need to, watch tutorial videos over and over and over again a few times. And that's where something like a membership or a course would come in and meet. And believe me, I have invested in courses and coaches. So there is a place for that and a place for memberships and courses and coaches. I have clients who book with me once a week. Like literally we have a standing weekly appointment. Excuse me. And I have other ones that, maybe book once a month for a one-on-one just to kind of move to the next step. And some that just book a few times a year. They sort of gather up all of the things they want to talk about, and then they book an appointment. And that works too, right? Um, the challenge is, as a creator, do we need to provide our learners both? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. As a creator, you get to do what works for you. That's part of this, is making your online education business work for you and for your students. If it just works for your students, it's not going to work. If it just works for you, it's not going to work. It has to work for both of you, right? So if you enjoy one-on-one coaching, if you like it, if you can fit it into what you do, if it's one of your offerings, right? So it's one of my offerings, one-on-one coaching. Membership, that's one of my offerings. Affiliate marketing, one of my offerings. So I have several revenue streams and things that I do in branches of my business. And that works for me, right? I can balance my life, my business, and be able to do this. So if I don't want to take any bookings for a few weeks, I just book it off on my calendar, right? And I have that flexibility. With the membership, I don't have that flexibility, right? If I'm going on holidays, that doesn't matter to my members or my students. If I have made a commitment to be there on a weekly basis to do a live Q&A, or if I've committed to training on a certain day, I still have to show up. So even if I'm on vacation, and I was talking to actually one of my OCCA members yesterday and a client about this. So part of, understanding what you're offering is not only does it work for me and for my students, but does it fit into my lifestyle, right? Do I work 8 to 4 every day, Monday through Friday? And is that included in that sort of work time? For me, it's not. My days are extraordinarily flexible. I do a ton of different things in a day. And I work hard and I play hard. So I will work, 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 and then I will take a month off. And I have no problem with doing that. When I say I take a month off, though, I'm still managing my membership. I'm still doing live training, right? I'm still doing those things and engaged with my students because I have a membership. Now, if I had singular standalone courses that didn't have any kind of group aspect or community aspect or coaching aspect to it, then I could potentially check out. So that's a really important part too. Like how is your lifestyle? And how do you work best? And that's part of, what's good for me. And then also, what do my students need? If your students really need that connection, you're going to have a hard time giving them courses that don't give that kind of connection. So really, really, again, knowing your students and knowing yourself, right? Let's see. Do you think we need both? And is that why you created our private group? I think my students need both. My students and my clients need both. And they're slightly different. I have clients who are just one-on-one clients who only do one-on-one coaching with me. They've never taken my courses. They've never taken my online training. They don't want to do that, right? They want one-on-one, tell me what to do. What's my next step? Okay, I'm going to go do it. And then they book another call when they're ready. And then I have my students who are they have different needs. And sometimes there's crossover, right? Like some of my clients are also my students. Some of my students are also my clients. But some of my students are just students. They will never book a one-on-one call with me. They're happy with online education, the community, the live Q&As, the group. They're good with that. And some of my one-on-one clients will never be students. So this really comes back to your buyer persona. Who are they? What do they need? And not just, their age and demographic, but what are their needs? Who are they? Are they team people? Are they group people? Are they one-on-one people? Do I need to have smaller group sessions less frequently? or more frequently, right? Those are things that you may not know right now, but you will get to know as you do more in the online education space. Yeah, you're welcome, Mariette. That's a great topic for next week, choosing revenue streams best for us as creators. That's a great idea. So you know what? As an OCCA member, an Online Course Creator Academy member, you get to choose what topics you want training on. So put that in for one of the live trainings, and I think that would be a really good discussion to have, because I have 5, 6, maybe 7 revenue streams. So that if one is, if my bookings are down, one-on-one bookings are down, I've still got 6 other streams of revenue, right? So as a course creator, you have the ability to have different revenue streams. It is a great topic. So what comes first in decision making? What's good for you or what's good for your students or clients? I think you have to figure out what's good for you first, because otherwise you're overcommitting. So if you know that you are more introverted and you can only do a certain number of calls, one-on-one or group, per week, if you can only have a certain amount of interaction on a daily basis or a weekly basis with people in general, because you're more introverted or that's just not your comfort zone, and then you go and commit to daily live streams in your group, that's not going to work, right? So I think, like putting on your own mask first, you have to know what works for you first. That's what I would determine, what works for you. Do I get charged up by being around people? Do I get drained by being around people, right? Do I want to do more webinar style, or do I like it when everyone's on there and talking and there's noise? And one of the reasons I do more webinar style is because I have ADD. And so when there's a lot of people on a stream with me, meaning like in front of me, I'm looking at hairstyles and colors and the dog in the background, and it can be really, really distracting for me. So I tend to do more webinar style, where submit your question in advance and I'll answer it for you. Not always, but that is, I know myself well enough to know that I can get distracted really, really easily. And I work hard to stay on task. You'll also notice that my office is in my home and it is silent. So I don't have music playing. I don't have anything happening when I'm working. I have to be able to focus 100% without distractions. I know this about me. And so I have geared what I do with online education around having ADD and how I function with ADD, right? So this was amazing. And add question to our group. Good. Yeah, I hope that helps. I think you had some great questions there, Mariette. Thank you for bringing those up. Right. I think here's one of the things that this brings up for me is, as women, and a lot of my audience is women, not all of them. I definitely have male clients and male students, but a lot of my clients and students are women. And as women, we tend to give, right? We have a lot of give in us. And so knowing how much you can give and still be effective and still be able to run your life and still hold enough energy for yourself, for your children, maybe for your spouse, for your family, for your community, is really important. And I guess that it still comes back to you, right? How do you work best? Is other people's energy good for you or not good for you? How much time in a day? I have limits to how many bookings, one-on-one bookings, I allow a day. A certain, one 90-minute, one 60-minute, and one discovery call. And that's my limit for the day. After that, I'm tapped out. I'm sort of one of those, I used to be super, super extroverted. And then I became much more introverted. And somehow I'm kind of finding a little bit more of a balance of that now. But I love people and I love to be around people for a period of time, and then I need to retreat. So that's why I limit how many sessions I have in a day with people, because after that, I'm done. I need to go back. I need to retreat. I need to pull my energy back. And that works for me. So those are the kinds of things where, you know yourself, you know how you work, and that helps determine your business as a whole, not just online education, any kind of business, right? I just added the question to the group questions. Perfect. I needed this today. Bless your heart. Thank you, Mariette. That was some good discussion. And I always appreciate perspective, feedback, and prompts for great questions. So thank you. Thank you everyone for joining me. That was a really good one. I actually feel really energized after that. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Until next time, have a great day. And I will see some of you in my group, and I will see others of you back here next month. Take care.